What the heck is Formula One?
Pole position, strategy,
yachts and parties,
safety car, Ferrari.
beautiful corners.
Oh, right, okay. There's a car in front of you. Try and overtake it.
Oh, I hate you so much.
Hello, you fools. Welcome back to another Formula Fools podcast. I'm David, your guide through the twists and turns. And with me is Skin, who is the co-host.
Yes, I am here again.
Yes.
How are you, Dave?
I'm good. How are you, Skin?
Good. No complaints.
Good. Nice t-shirt.
Thank you. It's nice hoodie and hat and things.
And t-shirt as well, but you'll see that in part two, because I'll probably take this off because it's really hot in here.
Okay. Exciting stuff.
Very exciting.
I assume you've got some sort of update, or are we just leaving it as a bit of a grey area there?
Well, just a little grey area. Just get people excited. We're going to tease everyone that wants to see the videos.
Oh.
Or will see the videos.
Yep.
So little tease, and then people can beg us for it.
Okay.
No, there's a plan in place for when we will launch all of this. These are samples. We're testing it out, making sure they're all good.
Yeah,
before
so
we
far so
launch it.
good. I've been wearing it for about 9 seconds. Fantastic.
Go, Skin. We just had the Canadian Grand Prix, and we've got a hot lap recap for you with a jingle, Skin. Woohoo! Which I didn't get the thing ready. Here we go.
The race is over. It's that time in the show for the hot lap recap. Let's go.
All right, fools, welcome to your Hot Lap recap from Montreal, where the Canadian Grand Prix delivered a late plot twist so spicy, even the groundhogs were ducking for cover. All right, let's set the scene, shall we? George Russell took his first win of the season for Mercedes, converting pole into victory with a super calm and confident drive. He kept Max Verstappen at bay all afternoon. He survived a protest from Red Bull about erratic safety car driving, which the stewards binned faster than the retreating wildlife, by the way, and led home Mercedes' first double podium of the year, with rookie sensation Kimi Antonelli taking third. But the real drama, that was all McLaren, wasn't it? Yeah, you see, for the first time this season, title rivals and teammates, let me remind you, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri came to blows. And not in the polite sort of tea and biscuits British way. No, impact hard and scary. With just 4 laps to go, Norris, running an inverted strategy and charging up the grid, tried to snatch fourth from Piastri. He'd been following him for a while and it was there for the taking. As they barreled down the pit straight, Norris completely misjudged the gap. He clipped the back of Oscar's car, luckily not giving him a puncture, but it looked like he could have. And then he launched his own McLaren into the pit wall at over 270 kilometers per hour. The safety car was out, Norris was out, and McLaren's hopes of a double podium finish were out of the window. Now, to be fair to Norris, he was quick to own up, wasn't he? He told the team, guys, I'm sorry, my bad, this is all my fault. Absolutely stupid from me. I've embarrassed myself, which is great to own it, but it's not really the sort of radio message you want sending when you're fighting for the world championship, is it? And the incident actually was a literal Groundhog Day of Hamilton and Jenson Button's infamous McLaren tangle in the same position in 2011. But this time the blame was all on Lando. There was just no room. There was no overlap. It was just a misjudged move from a driver who really is feeling the pressure, isn't he? And Piastri, though, he managed, after a safety car pit stop to change those impacted tyres, he managed to bring it home in fourth. His championship lead now is swelling to over 22 points over Norris, with Verstappen now just 1 point behind the Briton. So it's not a fatal blow for Lando's title hopes, but it's definitely put the friendly rivalry on ice for now. Russell was never really threatened, and Antonelli at just 18 and 294 days old, became the third youngest driver ever to stand on an F1 podium after Verstappen and Lance Stroll, who were younger when they first sprayed the champagne. And the Italian rookie showed nerves of steel, didn't he? He muscled past Piastri at the start and was holding his own even in that late race chaos. While poor old Lewis Hamilton's afternoon was derailed. I mean, I've maybe cruelly hinted at it a few times already, but it was derailed by a collision with a groundhog. Yes, really. He destroyed the groundhog, unfortunately, and the groundhog destroyed his car. It damaged his floor and left Hamilton in 6th. But to be fair, he was more upset about the wildlife that he'd slaughtered than any of the points that he lost. In fact, I think one of his engineers said that the damage that was caused to his car on lap 13 was costing Hamilton half a second a lap for the rest of the race. So to bring it home in 6th really isn't that bad. Alonso brought home more points for Aston Martin in 7th. Hulkenberg, again, what is happening with Kick Sauber? He came home and gave them something to cheer about in 8th. And Esteban Ocon scored for Haas in their 200th race, with Carlos Sainz rounding out the top 10 for Williams in what was really yet again another disappointing weekend for the Blues. So, to sum it up, Mercedes are back on the top step. Russell's got his groove and Antonelli is officially here. McLaren's title fight just got personal, with Norris owning a costly error and Piastri quietly extending his lead, and Verstappen still lurking like a predator by the school gates for that championship. And the championship battle is heating up, isn't it? Faster than Dave's sweaty marathon-trained undercarriage. And Lewis Hamilton, well, bless him, he's still probably somewhere apologising to the family of groundhogs that he's just accidentally orphaned. Next up, Austria, where last year's race saw Norris... Yeah, has he learned anything? No. It saw Norris and Verstappen collide while fighting for the win. What a cracking race that was. Can you remember it? So if Montreal was anything to go by, you might want to bring your popcorn for this race as well. That's your Hot Lap recap. I'm Ryan, reminding you that in F1, as in Canada, sometimes the biggest hazards aren't the walls or the wildlife, but they are, in fact, your own teammate. See you later.
Luckily, we're teammates. We don't crash into each other.
Yep.
Did you not hear about the groundhog?
No, I didn't know about that. I was wondering. Yeah, I remember Hamilton's, seeing in the race that Hamilton had some damage to his car and it was costing him half a second a lap, but I never saw the crash.
Well, no, neither did I. I was really confused when they came on and was like, you're 20 points down on downforce. I was like, who did he hit? Yeah. And then after the race, I saw a quote from him. I just tried to find it while that was on, but I couldn't find it anywhere. He was basically saying, now this isn't a direct quote because I can't remember, but he was like, I love all animals. I'm gutted that I hit the groundhog. But people at the track were saying you could see it's part of its body was still kind of on the track. So yeah, not the best.
No, that's not great at all.
No. And in qualifying as well, they were just kind of sat on the grass down that back straight, just watching the cars go by. And it was we should probably move them. But yeah, it cost Hamilton big time. Apparently had some... It had damaged the underside of his car, the floor of his car. So he was down quite a lot of downforce, which is why he just kind of had a nothing race.
Right, okay.
But yeah, as a vegan, that must have been hard to hear Ryan basically just make a joke about it.
Oh, yeah. Devastating. Not ideal.
No,
Don't they have barriers going around the whole track for to make sure cars don't crash into people and stuff? How are animals just sneaking through these cement barriers?
Because they've got so that how they're put down with the forklifts.
Yeah,
the forklifts have to go in the thing. So there's just these very small little holes in each one. And there was a video of them, I think on the Thursday or something, of them just crawling out and just poking their heads up.
Bloody.
They're cute as, and it's become a thing at Canada. It's we always get Groundhog Gary or whatever they call him. He always comes out and they always sit and watch the race. And they never usually get onto the track like that during a race or anything. But yeah, happened this year. Sucks.
Spion.
Yeah.
Poor old Gary.
Lando and Oscar. Let's just dive straight into that.
Sure.
Your team, McLaren. We have the car up every week.
Yep.
Mainly because we just don't have another one.
Correct.
If we had a Williams, that would be their pride.
We have a small Williams.
We do have a small Williams.
Swap them around.
We've got 2 small Williams and a little small Haas as well.
Nice.
That would look weird up there, though.
Yes, correct.
But no, Lando and Oscar, drama.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they crashed. Well, yeah, I was going to say they crashed into each other. I suppose Lando just crashed into Oscar, really.
Yeah.
Not ideal.
No.
I mainly followed McLaren because Oscar's Australian, though, and he kind of finished fine.
Yeah, he did good.
I personally didn't care that much.
Yeah, true. I think that's pretty much everyone's feelings from the Oscar side of the camp as well. It's that didn't affect our race. We're fine. Oscar's thoughts exactly. Like, did you see in the media pen afterwards when Lando went over and apologized? Oscar was just like, I still finished P4.
Yeah,
like, it's fine, mate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wrote a little bit about it. Lando was doing really well. Like to come from P7, like he had a crap qualifying, and then to make his way through the field, mainly through strategy. It was a fucking boring race. Nothing happened for 66 laps. To do all of that and then be catching Oscar. It looks like the upgrades they brought to the McLaren, which were only on Lando's car. That was by choice, though. Oscar didn't want the upgrades. If they had them available, he said, no, I'd rather stick with what I know for now, and we might bring them to a different race. It looks like they're doing well because he was definitely faster than Oscar in the last phase of that race. And then, on that, like he'd had a few laps where he was catching him. Oscar was kind of on the back of Kimi as well, so it was kind of a these three battling for the podium, but Oscar could never quite get close enough. Dirty air at this track has just been... It was basically another Monaco. Like you couldn't follow and you couldn't overtake. It was just shit. But yeah, Lando got close. He had a really good move into the hairpin, like Ryan was just talking about, and then all the way down that back straight, like how he pulled out and like looked like he was going to have it under braking. He then did a really great like brake slightly earlier because he knew Oscar was going to brake later, and then just squared off the first part of the chicane so he would have a better run down into turn one. Everything up until that point was fantastic.
Yeah,
and
it was awesome to watch, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like just a nice little battle. They were overtaking each other, going back and forth. It looked fantastic.
Yeah. I was like, Lando's going to get this.
Mm.
And then he drove into the wall.
Yep.
Like, it just, do you know what I mean?
It was quite weird, wasn't
Yeah.
it? It was like, just keep doing what you're doing. You don't need to drive into the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people have tested that strategy before.
Driving into the wall.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, no. Apart from that one guy in NASCAR who drove into the wall and gained like 6 positions, but that's on an oval in a tin top.
Okay.
F1, don't do it. Lando will tell you that. Even watching it live, it was like, that, like, before he even hit, it was like, why is he still trying that? Oscar's defending the inside.
Yeah, it seemed pretty obvious there wasn't a gap there. I suppose it's probably a slightly different vantage point sitting in a car going to 70 miles an hour or whatever it is.
Yeah, I felt very comfortable sat in West End watching it on a very comfortable sofa.
Yeah, pretty easy with hindsight from the couch on TV, but...
yeah, but come on.
It looked bizarre. And there was still obviously time to get another move somewhere else. So it seemed like just an unnecessarily bold choice.
Yeah.
But what's happened since then? Because obviously in the lead up to, this race and just other races throughout the season, McLaren have spoken about how their drivers are free to race essentially, right?
Yep.
Have they come out and said anything since the race that changes that? Are they changing their strategy? Are they freaked out by that or by the whole... Because they lost like 12 points, didn't they?
Yeah. They lost 12 points. And let's face it, if they had used team orders on that lap, let's just say, could Norris with the speed advantage he had catch Kimi and have a go at Kimi?
Yeah.
We don't know, and we will never know. But would that have been a possibility had team orders come into play? No, they haven't come out and said anything. They're not going to change the way that they go racing by the looks.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Brown has been saying, I think it may have been Monaco, but he's definitely been saying for a while now that he knows they're going to crash. He knows they're going to have a coming together, and it's going to it's not going to look great for the team or for the drivers. He's like, but we're managing that, and we still want them to go racing, and they know that if they crash, that's on them. That's their fault. They caused the incident, and they need to own up to it, kind of thing. So they're like, nah, we've got 2 number 1 drivers, and we want you to race as hard as possible. So they're not changing anything. And I think from their point of view as well, nothing bad has happened for McLaren. This doesn't make McLaren look bad. Lando's radio message after the race where he said, they asked him if he was okay. He put, yep. He said, yep, I'm sorry. It's all my bad, all my fault. Just unlucky. Sorry, stupid from me. Like, that sums it up straight away. Lando took ownership of it. And I was shocked when I heard that radio message. Like, I thought we were going to get, he turned in on me. Fuck this guy or whatever. But Lando proper just put his hand up and went, I fucked up.
Yeah, okay. So it doesn't look bad. Like, there's not like massive infighting in the team or anything, but it still cost them 12 points.
Yeah.
So,
but it cost the team 12 points. Okay, yeah, but they are heads and shoulders. I can't remember what the standings are for the constructors, but it's like they're not going to lose the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah.
So from McLaren's point of view, like 12 points doesn't really matter. From Lando's point of view, 12 points is everything.
Yeah.
So it's affecting Lando more than it's affecting the team.
Okay.
See where I'm coming from?
I do.
And I think that if this championship battle was tighter with a Ferrari, Red Bull, or Mercedes closer to them in the constructors, then it would be a different story. We'd have team orders come into play, and I think they should put team orders in play at that point. But I think at this point, when they know, on average they're going to finish the lowest of third with at least one of their cars, you can pretty much guarantee you're going to win the championship with that, because your other car is probably also going to be on the podium or in fourth. Like, over a full season, not one other team is going to beat them. Kimi's not got the consistency to match George, so Mercedes aren't going to challenge for constructors. Ferrari are fucking nowhere, and Yuki, struggles to get a point. So
yeah, I did have a look at that before this podcast. I think Red Bull have 166 championship points.
Yep.
Max has 155 or something like that.
Like Red Bull are nowhere near the constructors. Mercedes. I think Mercedes might get second unless Ferrari can turn that car around. But even then, I fully expect Mercedes to be like half the point. Like, they'll have half the points that McLaren do by the end of the season. Okay. Like, McLaren don't need to worry about the constructors. It's in the bag.
Okay. Have they changed that strategy since it became obvious they were going to win the Constructors' Championship? Like, because at the start of the season, weren't they sort of fluffing around with who finished in what order and stuff? Yeah,
I think they were a bit more... I think they wanted to maybe look at the bigger picture and see where the rest of the teams were. And I think, by now, they can kind of like bed in and go, let's double down on this strategy. Let them race. We've got we're going to win the Constructors' Championship. Like, I think the mindset has stayed the same, but I think it's just become more... They're becoming more militant with it almost, and they're becoming more like, it's obvious they're going to win even from their point of view. So they're just like, we'll let them do what they want to do, and we'll just pick up the constructors by the end of the season.
Right. So is the gain for that, so they know they're going to win the Constructors' Championship, so they're not stressed about 12 points.
Yep.
But what's the gain in having that mentality? Is it just the drivers are happier, essentially? Like, no one feels like they're the number two, so they're more likely to come back next year? Is that
harmony? Yeah, harmony. And I can guarantee this will be great for this season. Potentially, maybe, who knows? Next year, McLaren are not going to be this fast in comparison to everyone else. We've got new regs, we've got new engine spec, we've got a big shake-up next year. We've got Audi coming into play, we've got Cadillac coming into play. We know that teams like Williams and Aston Martin are investing heavier into 2026 than what they are into this season. And Williams have already made a big step forward. So, next season is not guaranteed for anyone. We don't know who's going to be in the top 3-4 teams, and we don't know who's going to be dominating the races, or if we're even going to have someone dominate the races. So McLaren are I think they're in the best position possible, especially after seeing Lando's reaction post-race, seeing how the drivers just apologize and were like, shit happens. I think that's the best thing for them this season, because next season it's not going to be like this. I think if they have a car that can compete for the championship next year, they are going to need to be more ruthless, because it's going to be tighter next year, for sure.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I do. It's exciting.
Yeah. So tune back in next year.
I mean, keep tuning in.
Keep tuning in this year. Obviously, let's to Former Fools.
All right, Disc, outside of McLaren, I think you mentioned your only couple talking points from the weekend were Mercedes and Williams.
Yep.
Williams didn't have a great weekend, so I'm surprised you want to talk about that.
I don't want to talk about it, but it's the only other thing in the weekend that actually happened.
Okay, right. Their weekend was off to, I don't know what happened in testing, but not off to the greatest start in Q1 when Alex's engine cover just blew up. Yeah. What the fuck? What happened?
We saw this in preseason testing, didn't we? Didn't we see someone's engine cover blow up, and you asked a question and I was like, you won't see this during the season.
Doesn't happen.
Does it happen during the season? It did. It happened at the most random time, because he'd already done some fast laps, and then he was just on another fast lap and it just blew up. Boop. Yeah, it was bizarre. It wasn't anything major. It was just that they screw it all. They screw all the engine cover down. They put the tape over the seals, and some of the tape must have come up or not been on properly. Air got underneath, and then the air pocket just decided the pressure was too much, and it just exploded. It was very bizarre. But then it was also one of them where it was obviously going to be a red flag, down that back straight, so much debris. We need to red flag it. Alex benefited from that red flag because they could then repair the car. I was quite shocked we didn't get a penalty or anything, like a 3-place grid drop or anything for that. Because it was like, it was most likely a human error that caused the issue. So I'm quite shocked we didn't get even just a one. They keep throwing these random 1-place grid drops out. I'm surprised we didn't even get that. But there may have been like a financial penalty or something, but I don't know. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I feel like we should have got something for that.
All right. Little pleasant surprise. Take it and run.
Yeah.
And then, but they certainly didn't qualify that well. I think Alex was like 13 and Sainz was 17.
No, Alex got P9.
Really?
Yeah, started P9.
Okay.
Carlos qualified like 16th or something. Got blocked by Isaac in the qualifying, which Isaac got a 3-place grid penalty for. And he was 0.02 off of getting through to Q2. So it was like, we lost probably 2 or 3 tenths because of that blocking. So like, he should have qualified better. And I will say as well, in FP1, we were 2nd and 3rd. So like, coming out of practice, it was like, we're fucking gurus. And then coming out of qualifying, it was like, we're not gurus.
Yeah, FP1, that's the session you want to dominate.
Yeah. Good.
Anyway, so what happened in the race then?
Yeah, well, that was the confusing thing. Like Alex had a very frustrating radio message where he came on the radio and shouted, I don't really know why you don't listen to me. It really annoys me. He was very pissed off with the team. That was, I think, due to the fact that he started on medium tires. Everyone was pitting between we saw early pit stops as well. Between like lap 14 or 15 through to lap 20, people were pitting. And it was on like 23, 24 that we saw this radio message. So it was like, yeah, his tires are fucked. They were also a scrub set. So they'd already done like four laps on them or something in qualifying. So they kind of just left him out to dry. It felt like they were going for a one stop, but it was very clear when people were pitting on lap 16, 17, 18 that a one stop was not going to be possible during this race. Degradation was far too high and the medium runners were way too quick. And I think that's what Alex was talking about is he was on the radio saying to them, these tires are fucked. Let's get onto the hards. Let's do what everyone else is doing. Let's not get out of sync. And they screwed it. And then they were like, oh yeah, pit now. And he goes, fucking don't pit me now. We've committed to it. If we pit now, we're going to be last. They pitted him 2 laps later. He was last. So yeah, just bad strategy call. Bad strategy call from the first lap, if that was their intention. And then a bad strategy call to not then try for the one stop, even though it was going to be fucking impossible. And his engine then fucking blew up.
Yeah, right.
It didn't blow up, but it stopped working.
He also went 4-wheel driving on lap 1. Do you think that was a bad strategy?
He went 4-wheel driving. Did he?
Yeah, do you know?
Oh shit! When he went like across the grass and everything. Yeah, fuck. That was did you like the slow-mo shot of it as well when he was like his rear end was in? Yeah, that was I'm surprised we didn't see parts fly off the car during that. That was hectic. Yeah, that wasn't the best.
No, maybe try say on the flat stuff, but anyway.
Try say on the tarmac there, Alex. These cars are not rally cars.
All right, and then Mercedes.
Yep, let's talk about Mercedes.
They were good.
They were fucking guru. And you don't ever hear me saying that about Mercedes, but just from free practice, it was like, these guys have got a good car this weekend.
Yes.
Like they were looking very good. And then qualifying, George pulled out that lap and it was like, I think the commentators as well, Max got P2 and the commentators were like, Max has got pole. And then it was like, George is doing really well. And then he crossed the line and was like, 0.16 or something. Up on Max, which I think may be the biggest qualifying gap we've had this season, or like close to. It was an impressive lap. Like, oh my God, it was an impressive lap. And then for Kimi to put it in P3 was even more impressive. Or P4
it was
behind
P4,
Oscar.
because he overtook Oscar in the...
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was saying to Lee earlier, I was like, he's P3, but P4. I'll tell Skin P3, see if he's paying attention.
Yeah, mate, I'm all over it.
Yeah,
no, P4 is not bad. And then overtaking Oscar on lap 1, also not bad.
Yeah, that's what you want.
That's generally what you want, a little early overtake, featuring a few more overtakes.
It would have been nice.
But no, so that's certainly not bad. And then he's finished the race P3, third youngest person to ever podium in F1, behind Max and Stroll.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
I'm sure Stroll's was a podium for Williams as well, if I'm not mistaken.
How did that happen?
It was a crazy... someone is going to comment this because he definitely podiumed in Baku. I've got a feeling it was in Baku. But it was just one of them races where like some people at the front crash, and then we had safety cars and like people were out of sync. It was one of them where it's just like you throw up a random podium and it's just like, okay, well, I fucking never expected that to happen, but there you go. You got a podium.
Okay.
So yeah, it wasn't like he got it on merit. He was a fucking wizard or anything like that. Nah, it was just, he got lucky. Right place, right time kind of thing.
Okay. And then, so everyone's talking about Kimi like he's sort of like fantastic. And it was obviously a fantastic race and fantastic weekend. But how, in your opinion, like how excited should we be about this fella, right? So of the rookies,
Yep.
I think I wrote it down earlier. He's 42 points clear of the next rookie, who's Hadjar, I believe. Then 57, 59, and 63 points clear of all the other rookies, right? So is this like unusual looking at previous season rookies? Like, is he really, really good, or is he just in like a pretty decent car, or what's going on?
I think the hype is he's definitely worth the hype. Looking at points is very difficult because, yeah, that is very impressive, but he's also in a Mercedes and Isaac's in a fucking Racing Bulls. So, like, the two cars are not comparable. If he had gone into a Williams and he was beating Isaac by that much, it would then be like, shit, this guy's a wizard. I think the reason that the hype is worth it and why people are so impressed by him that know about F1, and especially when we look at, like, the commentators like Martin Brundle and David Croft and stuff that are getting wet over his results. Yeah, sorry about that one. I think the reason they're doing that is because he is doing all of this in a Mercedes. The pressure of being in a top car is huge. He just turned 18 years old. Top cars, like what we're seeing with Yuki right now, top cars always are harder to handle because they're more on the edge, because they're faster. Slower cars like a Williams or a Racing Bulls or whatever are a bit easier to drive. They tend to have like easier just more basic way of driving, or like the operation of it, like turning in and things, or it's less pointy or it's less loose, or like it's just a bit more like a regular balanced car. So again, like what Isaac is doing is very impressive, but I think put him in a Red Bull, he would struggle like Yuki is and like Liam did. And I think that was the boldest thing for Mercedes, is to put a rookie in their top flight car. The reason they're doing it is because they know they're not going to win this year. And they're doing it for next year, 26, 27. So it's smart by them, but he's definitely living up to the hype. And I think, if I'll be honest, I'm less impressed by this podium than I am by his sprint pole. I think his sprint pole, we're seeing this season that qualifying's everything, right? So him getting pole in a sprint and beating everyone on merit on one lap was way more impressive than getting this. It was a great drive, very well managed, very calculated. This is just the first of many podiums for him. He'll get potentially 100 plus podiums in his career. He's super young. He's probably going to be a world champion. He'll get a shit ton of podiums, and this is just the beginning. So yeah,
some early big calls from Disc. Nice.
Yeah, and I was skeptical about him going into the season as well. I'm sure I said it on the pod. I'm sure I was like, I don't know if he's going to live up to hype. I was like, I hope he creams George, because that would be great, but I don't think he's going to. He's fucking proving me wrong.
Okay, well done. And so comparing him to other previous rookies, like again, I barely know F1. I sort of got into it like last season. The only other rookie that I really know that's been exciting is Max, right? Yep. He was like the world's youngest everything, basically, and won all these things immediately out of fucking high school or something. Who else has been good? Like who's
the only other rookie we've seen go into a top flight team? Well, Max didn't even go into a top flight team. He went into Toro Rosso, which is Racing Bulls, and I think he did 6 months there, like half a season or something, then got promoted. Lewis was the last one that he went straight into McLaren, which were at the time the top flight team, and almost won the championship on his debut season. There is a lot of speculation and cheating in that season, which is why he didn't win. But that's a podcast for another day. But yeah, the last time we saw this genuinely like a guru rookie was probably Lewis Hamilton. I don't even think Max made this much of an impression when he first came in. I think it was like Max came in and did some very impressive shit and was like, this guy's a wizard. But he would crash more, or he wouldn't finish more. Kimi is being so fucking consistent. It's unreal. Just like Lewis was. When Lewis came in, it was like, this guy is fast as fuck and consistent. And that pains me to say, because it's Lewis. But yeah, genuinely, like I don't think we've had a rookie like Kimi since 2007. So yeah, I'll guarantee by 2029, this guy will be a world champion. That's a disco guarantee.
Wow, that means a lot. That's yep.
Probably doesn't. I'm also guaranteeing Williams are going to win every championship from next year onwards.
That's right. Beautiful. All right. Thanks, Disc.
No worries, Skin. Let's move on to a little driver of the day. I think this one's going to be very easy. Driver of the day, biggest letdown. Kimi Antonelli gets biggest letdown. I'm obviously joking.
Thanks.
All the praise I just gave him. Driver of the day for Kimi.
Really?
Has to be.
Okay. I was tempted to go Nico again.
Oh, fuck. Nico dominated again.
He's doing it. What is happening to that man?
I don't know. He got dropped out of F1 and everyone was like, he might make a return, and he has just come back swinging.
Yeah.
Like, he is just a guru. Audi must be watching his results going, yeah, we made the right call here.
Yeah.
He's a web.
Yeah, nice. And then biggest letdown, probably Lando. It's
got to kind of be Lando. Or probably the Williams strategy, but I'll go with Lando.
That's true. Yeah, great point.
Yeah, Lando. Just, we've spoke about that. He shit the bed.
Yep.
And hit the wall. Next up, we have got the Austrian Grand Prix. We are going to the Red Bull Ring. Yes, Red Bull own the circuit.
Cool.
Go Skin.
It's exciting.
I think we spoke about this last year anyway, so this isn't news to you.
No, mate.
Yeah. But you've been to the Austrian Grand Prix multiple times.
Over it. It's my favorite one to attend.
Sure. Yeah. It actually does look like a fucking good party.
Okay.
So I've written down 3 things for you to look out for. The first one is McLaren's momentum with the championship in general, but mainly, can Oscar expand his lead, and will we see Norris come back with a bit more calculated aggression? Because that's what we need from him. We don't need him to get his head down and not try these moves. I mean, he shouldn't have tried that one, but not try aggressive moves. He needs to keep doing it. But what are we going to see out of this next race? We're going to see Oscar, riding the high of a bigger championship lead now, and he's going to go and dominate, or are we going to see Lando come back and do well? Lando, historically, he got his first podium at Austria, so he loves the track. He always goes well around here. It could be Lando's race to win out of him and Oscar, but momentum is not on his side. Second thing I wrote down was Russell's confidence boost. Very similar to Oscar there. He's just coming off a race win. I feel like he's building this season up really nicely, and I'm expecting big things. So it would just keep an eye out. I reckon he's going to do well in qualifying. And yeah, Mercedes historically not the best at this track, but I just think after a race win, there's always a bit of extra speed in there for you. So keep an eye out for that one in qualifying. And then another qualifying one, because the race most likely will be the same as Canada, like pretty shit. Watch qualifying this week. Track limits. This track is a motherfucker for people just pushing the limits, going super wide. That we've tried sausage curbs. We've tried like bringing gravel traps slightly closer. We've tried a lot of different things to stop people running off like over the white line. And we also, because it's quite a small track, I think the lap times are like 110s or 112s or something. Qualifying is always super hectic, especially Q1. It's super, Q1. It's always super hectic with just like people going real slow and traffic and like trying to build up to a good lap. So keep an eye out for that in qualifying, because that is going to be the most interesting part of the weekend, in my opinion.
Okay. What the hell is a sausage curb?
Like when you see they'll have like the white line, then they're like red and white curbs. And then they'll sometimes have them look like yellow curbs that are kind of like, they just look like rounded.
Oh.
It's just a sausage curb because it just kind of looks like half a sausage is laid down.
Yeah.
Or people call them like sleeping policemen or something like that. I don't know. There's other words for them wherever you are in the world.
Okay.
But they're just proper, like, because they're quite high. If you go over, you can kind of like ride it and destroy the floor of your car, and obviously ground effect, you don't want to be doing that. I don't know what they've put in place for this year, because I know they've been trying a bit, but yeah, just track limits is going to be a bastard.
Mm-hmm.
You got something else?
Random question. Yeah.
Go Skin.
You know how you hate all English people?
Yeah.
What do you make of George Russell?
Oh, I said it at the beginning of the season. Last season, I was like, this guy's becoming a bit of a wiener. But then this season, I'm like, he's confusing me.
He seems like the nicest guy ever.
He does seem like the nicest guy ever.
He finished the race. He won the race on the weekend. And like the second thing he said after like, well done team, was go Kimi.
Is that what he said?
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
So excited for
right.
Kimi finishing third.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah, he does seem like a nice bloke, but last season he just annoyed me, and I think it's the Lewis Hamilton effect, right? Like I don't like Lewis so much that when he was Lewis's teammate and he would brown nose Lewis a little bit, I was like, oh, this guy's a wiener. But now Lewis isn't there, and I like Kimi. I'm like, I'm liking George a little bit more.
Okay.
But then Toto's still there. But I don't know. Well, that wraps up another lap at the Formula Fools podcast. We hope you enjoyed the ride as much as we did. It is now your turn to join the Fools family by connecting with us on social media. We are at Formula Fools on Facebook and at Formula_Fools on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
Get around the YouTube as well, because we are doing it.
Please do that. And also please leave us a rating and review wherever you're listening. That's on Apple, Spotify, things of that nature. That would help a great deal.
Oh, yeah. That is it. I don't know what the last line is because I've put my phone back down. Thank you for joining us at Formula Fools, where every turn is a chance for a good laugh. We'll see you next time.
Go Disc.